all you do is market to the yeses, the ready buyers, you'll have very little response. But if you market to the maybes and then continue from there, much better. So let's talk now about engagement. What happens next? What happens when somebody signs up for your free report or attends your webinar or attends your seminar? First thing to think about, and Jennifer, we were just talking about this, is you don't sell a product or service. You sell the outcome that comes from that product or service. A great way to think about this is by sharing with you an example of an advertisement that's my favorite advertisement. If any of you have been with me when I've spoken before, I fall back on this one all the time. It's a color advertisement that you see in magazines and on the internet. And it's a photograph, black and white, of a Nebraska farm boy. His tractor hat kind of tilted. He has kind of faraway eyes, and he's standing in a muddy field. It's dark and cloudy and kind of dreary. He's holding this yellow box. The photograph's black and white except for the bright yellow box. And the copy next to the photograph says, he was a Nebraska farm boy. She was an Italian supermodel. He had just one chance to impress her. Rosetta Stone, the quickest way to learn, underline, Italian. It's a brilliant ad. And what's brilliant about that ad is that the folks at Rosetta Stone understood that what they sell is not language learning programs. What they sell is romance, adventure, avoiding embarrassment and humiliation, and so forth. That's a fairy tale, Nebraska farm boy and Italian supermodel. But if you and your partner are off to Italy next month or next year, you're buying Rosetta Stone for the same reason. Romance, adventure, not being the ugly American who can't speak a lick of the language, being able to go into the little village where nobody speaks English and not be embarrassed and humiliated. And so, if you go to Rosetta Stone's Facebook page, pardon me, or blog, what you'll find is not pitch, 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 pitch. Here's the latest edition of our product, and we just added, 6 new lessons and new pictures to our CDs and videos. What you'll find is articles about travel, interactive stuff, share your photos from your latest adventure, content that is entertaining, engaging, and that speaks to the heart of what they do. So for us, what we sell is attracting, engaging, converting, and maximizing the lifetime value of client relationships. And so we spend a lot of time producing content that's of value to our clients and very little time producing content that's simply, here's what we do, here's why you should buy, here's how to start. Tips, interesting, informative, helpful information. Content that reflects what you sell. So for Jennifer, it's going to be content about helping to organize your life that leads them to the sale. For Steve, it's going to be seminars and content that helps sort through the fact and fiction about how to manage the elder care experience. For you, it's going to be tips about legal pitfalls and things that you need to know. And ultimately, what you are doing is demonstrating your expertise, building trust, giving people a reason to spend time with you on social media, to open the emails that you send them. So Ben talked about how much he hates email, and I don't blame him because our inboxes are full of junk. But if you fill the inboxes of the people who have engaged with you with stuff that is educational, informative, entertaining, helpful, it will rise above the noise. People will open your emails. People ask me the question all the time, how much is too much for email? How much email should I send? How frequently? And my answer, which sounds flip, is not. It's If you're sending valuable content, you can't send enough. If you're sending irrelevant content, you can't send too little. Okay? Karen, how about you? How do you engage prospects and clients? How do you help your clients do that? Karen focuses mostly on social media, and it's a great channel for doing this sort of engagement.
Well, it's the same type of thing. It's giving great content, but it's not all about me, me, me. It's about all the things that benefit your client. Know your ideal client. Know who you're speaking to and speak to their needs and their wants before you ever get to speak about what you do for them.
Mm-hmm. So if we move over to actually pages 33 and 34. Let's skip to 34 for a second. One of the best ways to figure out how to produce the content that you might put forward in a communications program is to start by saying, what are the frequently asked questions that I hear from my prospects and my clients? What are the things they're asking about? What are the things they're wondering about? What are they worried about? And on this worksheet, I think there are 12 rows. I hope there are 12 rows. In that first column, just begin to jot down what are some of the frequently asked questions that you hear from your clients. So for us in the interactive marketing space, you know, that question, how often should I send? What content should I produce? Should I put video in my emails? These are all questions that we hear. And by thinking through those questions in advance, I'm consciously planning the conversations that I'm going to have in social media and in my email newsletter and on my blog. Second column, what are the questions they should ask but they're not? For you in the financial services business, in the legal business, it's a fairly easy thing. There are a lot of things they don't know to ask, and they should. List them down. It's a little trickier in other businesses, but if you think about it, you'll come up with a good list. Things they should be asking. And finally, what are the common objections? What are the common objections that you run into when you have conversations with prospects and with clients? And the importance of this exercise, what we recommend that you do is fill this out. And when you first fill this out, you may only be able to fill out 2 or 3 or 4 rows. And step back and try again. And get it to a point where you have all 12 rows and all 3 columns filled out. Because at that point, you have the outline for the content that you'll put out month after month after month for 12 months, 12 rows, 12 months. And the idea is that you're not just going to sit down and write a little essay or a little article each time, whether it's on your blog or in an email newsletter or something like that. What you're going to do is notice the things that are happening around you, something that you read, something that you experienced with a client, and you're going to be able to share stories. We talked, I think somebody mentioned earlier, it may have actually been Scott in your presentation, about the notion of you don't have to be a content creator. You can repurpose other people's content and just make reference to it. You can be a curator. If you find a great article that answers one of these questions or addresses one of these objections, share it on social media, reference to it in an email with a link or on your blog, and just put into context why it's important. If you're a good curator, as well as a content creator, you're going to provide that value that's going to engage those maybes and move them through a sales process, get them closer to choosing to do business with you. Now we're running a little short of time, so rather than turn the camera off and take 5 minutes and let you all fill stuff out, I think everybody understands the concept. So take home page 34, fill it out or create in the same page in some form, tack it on the bulletin board next to your desk. Reference it. And you'll have far less writer's block as you think about what should I do on my blog or in my social media or in my email newsletter. Now let's talk about conversion. Know how you close. If you're in the legal business, if you're in the financial services business, if you're in a B2B business where the thing that you sell is many thousands of dollars as opposed to a CD or a meal at a restaurant, you sell your product or service with at least a telephone call, probably face-to-face, probably more than one face-to-face. So don't leave yourself with the mindset that social media doesn't do me any good or email doesn't do me any good because nobody will buy my product or service unless I meet with them. That's a mistake. Social media, email, this engagement communications that we're discussing will help you figure out who are the people I should call to invite to a meeting. Maybe the follow-up email is not, okay, are you ready to hire me as a lawyer or as a financial advisor? No, but it may be, would you like to attend a seminar or would you like to call me? Can I call you to schedule a cup of coffee? So the real trick to conversion is understanding that the new technologies that are at our disposal, the new technologies that we're using to engage our prospects are wonderful for many reasons, but when it comes to selling, they're best because you can track. You know who is following you and who's commenting and who's responding on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and so forth. You can track, if you use an email service provider, who opened the email, who clicked through on the link for this product or service.